What if the next global peace movement does not come from the United Nations, not from traditional diplomats, and not from closed-door summits, but from one of the most powerful and controversial political figures of modern times? Imagine turning on the news and seeing headlines everywhere saying that Donald Trump is no longer talking only about elections or domestic politics, but about leading a global board of peace, a structure that aims to deal with conflicts far beyond Gaza. This idea alone is enough to make people stop scrolling, lean forward, and ask one question. Is this real power politics, or the beginning of something the world has never seen before? In recent media discussions, the concept of Trump as board of peace has started to appear as something much bigger than a single conflict. Supporters say this is not about one war, one country, or one region. They argue it is about creating a new global mediation platform that can step in where existing systems have failed. From the Palestinian situation to rising tensions involving China, from unresolved crises in Venezuela to growing pressure across Europe, this vision presents Donald Trump as a figure trying to expand his influence into global conflict resolution itself. Before we go deeper, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel. Because on Logic Unlocked, we break down power, politics, and global narratives in a way you won't hear on mainstream media. If you want sharp analysis without filters, you're in the right place. The idea behind the Board of Peace is simple on the surface, but powerful in its implications. The world today is not the same as it was decades ago. Conflicts are connected through trade, energy, security alliances, and technology. A war in one region affects prices, migration, and political stability across continents. Supporters of this idea say that old institutions move too slowly, speak too carefully, and often lack enforcement power. In contrast, Trump's brand of leadership is presented as direct, forceful, and media-driven, capable of applying pressure fast and publicly. Some commentators even compare this moment symbolically to the post-World War II era, when global systems were rebuilt from the ground up. Back then, the world saw new alliances, new rules, and new power structures emerge. In this narrative, Trump is framed not as a traditional peacemaker, but as a disruptor who believes peace comes through strength, leverage, and deal. This is where repeated references to the Nobel Peace Prize enter the conversation, not just as an award, but as a symbol of global legitimacy and historical impact. The Nobel Peace Prize has always been tied to credibility. When leaders receive it, they are seen as figures who shaped history, not just managed crises. Supporters argue that if peace is achieved through unconventional methods, then recognition should also move beyond conventional expectations. They point to examples where strong pressure, economic leverage, and political unpredictability forced outcomes that polite diplomacy could not achieve. The Board of Peace concept also emphasizes the involvement of the world's most powerful nations. The United States, China, Russia, France, and the United Kingdom are often mentioned because without their participation, no peace effort can hold real weight. These countries control military strength, economic influence, and international decisions. Supporters say peace without power is fragile, and power without coordination leads to chaos. The Board of Peace is imagined as a place where power is centralized, negotiated, and directed towards stability. China plays a unique role in this vision. Instead of being framed only as a rival, China is presented as a necessary partner in global mediation. The idea suggests that no modern peace framework can succeed without cooperation between Washington and Beijing. Pakistan and other regional players are also mentioned as bridges between major powers and conflict zones, especially in regions where political, religious, and economic factors overlap. Europe is another key pillar of this discussion. Countries like France, Germany, the United Kingdom, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, the Netherlands, and Finland are often highlighted as essential to global security. These nations bring diplomatic experience, economic stability, and strategic geography. Greenland is also mentioned in some discussions, not as a symbolic place, but as a reminder that Arctic and Atlantic security is becoming increasingly important in global power competition. Funding is another central part of the Board of Peace narrative. Supporters argue that peace talks without financial backing are empty promises. Reconstruction, humanitarian aid, and economic recovery require serious money. That is why multi-billion-dollar funding commitments are often discussed, including potential contributions from Arab nations and wealthy international partners. The argument is that if the world can spend trillions on war, it can spend billions on structured peace. In this framing, Donald Trump is presented as someone who understands leverage. His supporters believe he knows how to use media attention, economic pressure, and personal relationships with powerful leaders to push deals forward. They argue that credibility today does not come only from institutions, but from the ability to enforce agreements and keep them visible to the world. This is why some supporters openly call him a president of peace, not because he avoids conflict, but because they believe he aims to end it on his own terms. Whether it is Gaza, Venezuela, or rising tensions between global powers, the idea is that conflicts should be handled directly, decisively, and with clear consequences for failure. Of course, critics raise serious questions. They ask whether such a board of peace could ever be truly neutral. They question whether personal influence can replace institutional checks and balances. They warn that concentrating mediation power around one figure could create new risks. But even critics admit one thing. The conversation itself shows how deeply people are frustrated with existing systems. What makes this narrative powerful is not whether it becomes reality, but why it resonates. The world is tired of endless wars, frozen conflicts, and diplomatic statements that lead nowhere. People want outcomes. They want stability. They want clarity. The Board of Peace idea taps into that frustration and offers a bold, controversial alternative. As global tensions continue to rise, discussions like these will only grow louder. Whether you see it as visionary leadership or political branding, it reflects a shift in how people think about peace, power, and credibility. It suggests that the future of global conflict resolution may not look like the past at all. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think a board of peace led by a powerful political figure could actually work? Or would it create more problems than solutions? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because your perspective matters here. And if you found this breakdown valuable, share this video so others can join the discussion. This is Logic Unlocked, where we don't just report power, we decode it.